A couple days ago, I made a video about infinity as a closed system, and I realized that my terminology and my uh, thesis of that video was kind of bemuddled. So I'm not re-recording it, but I am adding to that uh, adding to that presentation. Quick synopsis for those who didn't see the previous video. Um, Basically, infinity is a closed system, and because of that, nothing can be outside of it. And due to this uh, postulate, due to this truth that everything is contained within infinity, then we can move to the uh, discussion of sentience and where is the boundary of sentience. Um, there's two ways to look at this. The first one is to say that all of the universe is contained in the mind of this one body, which is pretty fantastic and um, really probably not the correct assumption. The second one, I didn't mean to shoot the bird at you, but the second one is the idea that this mind is not confined to the body. Now that one is, of my opinion, more likely to be truth and is a lot more plausible than to say that the entire universe is contained in the representation of this mind. Um, of course, the present reality, my current surroundings, do represent holographically everything in the universe. So it represents the future, the past, the present, and everything else in reality that has ever happened right here, right now. And the way it does that is through a kind of spiderweb effect where this action influences this action, which influences that one, and finally you get this picture that is the cornucopia of thousands of different actions. It's the butterfly effect, pretty much. So, I say it much, but so what that means is that because um, this mind within this body is experiencing just a little tiny sliver of infinity, it is a representation of infinity, but it is not the fullness of infinity. So, because things happen outside of my perception, then there must be another mind somewhere that is perceiving the things that this body doesn't perceive. So, for example, I can't see through this wall, okay? But because I can't see through it, that doesn't mean that nothing's back there. It doesn't mean that the world only exists when I look at it. That's preposterous. It's ridiculous. And that's where you get in under the first assumption. You get into this I am God kind of thing, which you are a creation of God, you are a representation of God, but you are not God. So, because there's other things on the other side of this wall, trees, people, buildings, stuff like that, even though I'm not perceiving them with this mind, this body, they're still there. So that must mean that sentience is not bound to my head. I'm not I'm not uh, uh, I'm not the only mind in the universe. Okay, there's a greater mind underneath me that supports my reality, if you will. So, if things only existed when I looked at them or when I was conscious of them, would my heart be beating? Who can say? Because who sits here and says, beat, 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 beat? No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. You know, I'm not looking at the wall behind me right now, even though I see it on my little screen that's showing me my recording. I mean, I'm not actually looking at it. So, you know, if I do this, does my bed over there, does it just disappear? You know, this is not right, obviously. So there must be a mind underneath my mind, me being a point in this infinite grid system. There must be a larger point that I'm enveloped in. So if you think about measurements, measurements can always get infinitely smaller or infinitely larger because we're in an infinite grid system. So me, no matter how large or, and when I say large or small, I'm talking about the uh, different physical phenomenon that my consciousness envelops. So right now, it's my room, it's my roommate walking in. I'm in the middle of a video. So anyway, so because I am this point in this infinite grid system, there must be a larger point underneath me because measurements are relative. So my sentience is just a smaller sliver of a larger sentience that is a smaller sliver of a larger sentience, and all of this, because otherwise, like I said, we run into this whole things disappear when you're not looking at them kind of thing, or you know, is my heart beating even though I'm not thinking about it. So what you run into is this logical need for a greater sentient base upon which to uh, base your own sentient thought. So there is infinite intelligence repeating forever, pretty much. So that's it. God bless.